No water, let's continue. That was the end of video 7 and the start of video 8. Holy fucking shit. Keeps going. Next up, 166 from Bullfrog 1983, who asks, is Robert De Niro's character dead at the end of Taxi Driver? When the camera pans over the news articles. If so, when does he die? 2. Do you think Obama's term has been wasted, and why or why not? Nah, Travis didn't die. From my understanding, Scorsese and Schrader intended to imply that he survived the film, but that his survival wasn't a good thing. After all, he would kill again, and it wouldn't be so heroic. He was so close to being a political assassin, to being reviled instead of just cheered, but I don't think he commits suicide. As for my current president, no, I don't think his term was a waste, but I have mixed feelings about him. I had mixed feelings about the 2012 presidential election because he and Mitt Romney sounded so damn alike. While Republican media paints him as an anarcho-commie bastard who isn't even a citizen of the United States and has a deep connection to terrorism because of his middle name, his policies and cabinet and direction have been very inspiring. Not that I'm expecting my president to inspire me or really to be able to change laws single-handedly. We have Congress for that. What I try to do is analyze the entire gamut of his actions, not just the Obamacare phrase that has become so plastered in American media. Oh goodness. We're in a bad situation here. Sharkin actually knocked some shit aside. I think Obama's first term was a necessary breath of fresh air after 8 years of Bush the Younger. With his second term close to halfway over, I'd like to say Obama is an average president, but the historical significance of his election will undoubtedly, and without argument, elevate his status. It's like how a Discovery Channel special years ago polled 500,000 Americans on who the greatest American was of all time. This was back when I was in high school. And the best result, the number one pick, was Ronald Reagan. Greatest American of all time, Ronald Reagan. Anyway, being a historian, we definitely need at least a decade of separation, and preferably 2, so that we can analyze all of the material away from the political spin of the day and take a look at the facts. Ask me this question again in 20 years. Okay. You know, I thought my fucking attack rate was higher than that. Maybe fuck it. Might have done something wrong with my equipment. I ain't fucking around with that fucking today. I am so worn out the way it is. Fuck that shit. Well, since I can't use my gesture to move this shit, I'm just gonna have to sell it all. And reposition the blockades, and we'll go from there. Yeah, I probably have a bad piece of equipment on or something. It's fine. I'm doing okay. Makes life exciting, right? Wave 29, alright. Spring break. Doing pretty well. Doing pretty well. And a lot of experience for not really having to try that hard, right? Now we're getting into a lot of enemies on this map now, for sure. Without a doubt. Question 167 comes from Neem5151, who writes in, I have only one question. Would you describe yourself as a happy or a sad person? I am not a happy person. Next up, 168 entry from VampireShogun, who writes, why did you and Jeff stop hanging out playing Nintendo, and is there any chance that you guys will do it again? I think we got this one covered already. I might have to let him know the next time we talk on TeamSpeak that my viewers care about him as much as they care about my lack of beard. Moving on, 169th is LarienTheMage. Hey there, Larian, who writes, I've actually decided to take your advice and think it over. I've definitely had different set of questions before, so here we go. 1. What are your thoughts on Shadowrun tabletop so far? Story? Players? DM? 2. What clan match was? After reading all comments, man, if only people bother watching your previous Bacon videos and last year's stream Q&A, there would be a lot less questions. Well, you know, Larian, people don't have hours to invest in listening to me answer all questions. They want to participate by asking questions of their own. I can't even fault them for searching, because it's much more difficult to search audio files on YouTube than it is to do a forum search or use a search engine. You're a rare example of someone who has been, A, has been a long-time viewer, and B, has spent considerable hours listening to me while not playing a game. Like I said in the announcement video, I was open to questions, even questions that have already been asked, with the caveat that I'm free to do whatever I'd like with the question, and I think I've exercised that creativity during all this bacon frying. But, you know, if you'd like to help out, and that goes to any of you viewers who are still listening, by all means, on my TV tropes or whatever the fuck pages people have created for me, like the fan pages, collect all the answers I've given to questions and make a convenient FAQ. The Grimith FAQ. Oh. You should make an absolutely serious FAQ, based on what you know, and then a wildly inaccurate FAQ. But don't combine the two. That'd just be spreading misinformation and lies, and I would be disappointed in you, and you wouldn't disappoint me, right? Not if you're making a fan page. Oh, goodness. So, yeah. Let's actually get on with your questions. Regarding Shadowrun 4th Edition, I'm going to speak for what you guys have seen thus far. Obviously, Chapter 10 and Chapter 11 have yet to be uploaded. I like our game. It helps that we're familiar with each other. I inspired Sean to consult the group to look for players since he wanted to be a GM and complained about not having simple access to volunteers. I didn't think we'd play another game together, but we were all available and willing, so there you go. I think the complexities of the system and Team PC's unfamiliarity have demonstrated themselves thoroughly. I have trouble keeping track of all my modifiers, and I'm just the mage. Crimson, the newest of us all, has the most technically challenging role, and he's struggling to come to grips with it. Tech-savvy people have a difficult time hand-waving the rules that were designed by people who didn't think of all the nuances. Jordan is, doing well. Perhaps once again threatening to paint himself into a corner with another character, like he ended up doing with Marcus Paulson, and I'm hoping he seizes more time and focus for himself. Baron is his traditional active character veteran role player, and the only thing I nag him about is how he wants to plan for everything and, sort of like siphons away the ideas of others. Only we just can't do that because we either don't have the time to do the legwork or simply don't have the capability. Sean is doing well, although I think his immense fatigue and insomnia comes through at times. And as for me, I'm my traditional overbearing asshole self, only I'm on Team PC instead of Team GM. Once I get like a fucking idea, nestled in my brain, that's fucking it. You can't tell me shit. I do relish the moments where I get to be a player, and you also notice I don't have a problem of being critical of others, including myself. And anything I say here is something I'd say to their faces. Welcome to my unwanted honesty. As for Match's clan, that was definitely asked during the epilogue, and I said that I wouldn't answer it then, I certainly won't answer it now. Remember, asshole, I'm the douchebag who actually keeps secrets. That's part of the magic. How could you be against magic, right? Alright. Entry 170 comes from Goton564, who writes in, as Taboo, the 6th Sense ever been so very right at its answer that, as a result, you got very scared. 2. Which one of your LGWIs was the most boring to make? First answer, yes. Especially as a kid, while playing in the dark, early in the morning, that game scared the fuck out of me. Sorry, I got distracted by, my stuff vanishing out there. Very sad. The fucking spider webs don't help, especially now that the Sharkin's gone like, once again fucked over everything. And they're not even bothering to hit him while he's confused. That's terrible. Oh boy. Yeah, Taboo scared the fuck out of me as a kid. I haven't played it since, I don't think it's the last time I recorded it, but there are definite reasons why that music and those cards give me goosebumps. Serious business. As for the most boring LGWI, I think we'll fall back on the given prior answer of Titans of Steel for already provided reasons. Alright, 171 is from Mr. Epic Warzone, who writes, "You say fuck the children, what did they do to you? And if needed, show the judge on the doll, and also how it happened. Show me on the doll how fucked you are." It's a long time since I said that, huh? Number 2 is, "Can you herp the derp with Jeff Major, por favor, senor? A wise man once said, let's get on with it. Children are vile, insufferable leeches in video games. They'll bleed you dry of essential resources." Well, there goes that taker, man. Yeah, and the second question's obviously been answered before on numerous occasions. 172 comes from Crafty Coco, who writes in, "How do you feel about libertarians? How do you feel about feminists?" For the first question, I'll assume that you're referring to the United States social conception of what a libertarian is. I do not agree with many of the tenets of the Libertarian Party. I think government interference... Woo! Wave 30 and we're still going. Shit, I think it stops at wave 35. I think. I think government interference in the economic market is necessary in order to promote an actual free market, and I find the notion of education being entirely provided by the free market to be absurd. However, there are a few official stances which I like. I think retirement planning is the responsibility of the individual, not the government, and I'd like to see Social Security abolished. I also love their stance on government reform involving the political machine itself. Although you could take a cynical view of that aspect and say they only feel that way because they're a minor party, right? Even this side is seeing a little flack. My goodness. That shit never happens, right? Ah, man. Okay. So yeah, we've discussed this before. I could do a better job by being less lazy, but I'm like, this is still working. I mean, if I change something else, I might create something else wrong, and I'll have to think about that. I don't want to do a whole lot more thinking right now, because I'm trying to answer questions. We still got a lot of questions to go. I started way early this morning. Well, not way early, but I started this morning. Like a half hour after I woke up. I didn't even take a shower. Oh, man. So, yeah, that's my stance on that's how I feel about libertarians. As for feminism, well, as I said while responding to an earlier question, I am a feminist. I advocate equal rights for both men and women, and considerable energy has been spent in replacing society's mores with my own. So go ahead and fix this shit again. Ugh. Alright. Just do the same thing, because it'll distract them the same way. No need to be different here. Right, unfortunately, the attitude of feminism is, sort of, misunderstood. The word is, seen as such a trigger word, a hate word. And, it's widely unpopular in American society. The actual phrase feminism itself, it's, a one terminology that I know I've heard before is, I believe in equal rights between the sexes, but I'm not a feminist. But that's what feminism is. but it has such a negative, like a dirty connotation. It's like a pejorative type phrase. It's very unfortunate. I know the attitude is widely unpopular in American society. Look at how the Equal Rights Amendment failed. Many of my viewers, I'm sure, don't even know what the fuck that is, even though I've mentioned it several times. Although it was only a few states shy. As I mentioned in yet another question, my senior seminar, which was taught by my college advisor, focused on the history of women in the United States, and my senior thesis extensively documented the failure of the Equal Rights Amendment. Hell, my professor even cited my own work in one of the books she wrote on the subject. SKS can confirm that. I showed him a picture from the actual book which has my name listed. It is a thing. So, ladies, there you go. Another point on the scorecard, right? Unless you're part of the Stop ERA movement. If you are, then you can get fucked. The comfort of your home. By your man who is superior to you in life. True facts. Oh man, the throat's giving out. 173 comes from AckDude80, who writes, "What made you feel like making videos for the people in the first place? What keeps you going for making these awesome enjoyment for us? Have there been problems with people thus far? All these answers so little time, oh my gosh. 3 questions, you can't count bacon. I started this hobby because I wanted to share an alternative playstyle of a game I love, which some folks, including a few friends, expressed severe difficulty with, Liberal Crime Squad. That series even included screenshots and a narrative. What keeps me going? Positive interactivity. And I'm not doing this hobby in a vacuum, folks. Selfish reasons are involved and group participation is required." 174 comes from Harakashi, who writes, "Why do you dislike shit? Why do you dislike, make jokes of old people? How would you convince someone or yourself into believing in the supposed oldest entity, i.e. God?" There was an in-depth answer to my ageism earlier, so let's move on to your second question, which I mentioned in another answer that I've done extensive research into Protestant Christianity, and some limited looks at the other Abrahamic religions, and even less of the others. You know, I'm now starting to worry about, I just had this horrible thought pop in my head of, what if the sound effects are too loud on your ends? And what if my voice is being overpowered here a little bit? And what if all of the hours I just spent answering questions has resulted in horrible audio levels, even though I've listened to them? I haven't listened to them in the passionate heat of the moment with death spewing. I am now afraid. Let's turn the game volume down to like 50%. Oh god! That is a bad thought! Why did I think that? Oh man! You want to talk about doubt right there. My throat is thinking about that going, nah, fuck you, Grimith. Because I was just looking at the volume levels down at the volume bouncer for OBS, and they look pretty rough there at the height of power. I'm after this video, I'm gonna have to do a more in-depth look and check that. I'm a little scared. Help me. So yeah, I've done extensive research into Protestant Christianity and some limited looks at the other Abrahamic religions, and even less of the others, and there's a lot more questions and answers. Seriously, believing that the text you're reading is an entirely accurate representation of the text's original intent and meaning by the original author, whenever it was written, involves a massive amount of trust in humanity and or believing the Supreme Being would correct any wrongs in said text. As a historian, let me tell you that I don't trust people that much, especially when I look again at the negatives caused by religion in Western civilization, particularly when I reflect on the power-hungry church. If you held me at gunpoint, I guess I'd try to put the fear of the universe and the unsureness of what came both before and after into someone, But that's not really convincing someone to believe, is it? So you need to break their mind down through physical and mental torture until you get them to see your way as the one true way. Problem solved. Problem solved. Alright. 175 comes from Feathered Fan. That shit's still fucking like nestled in the back of my head where I'm thinking about it now. Like I want to stop this video just to check. No! I'm gonna be a big kid. Gonna be a big kid. We're not doing any video editing after the fact. I'm not joining any shit together. If I'm not fucking redoing all those hours. If you can't hear me, then you can't hear me. I'm pretty sure you could hear me, and I'm just fucking with myself after so much time spent doing this. Okay, Feathered Fan, 175. What was the total number of questions that you received before the deadline date? 2. How many questions, many of those questions are totally illogical and nearly unanswerable. By the way, I like the T, though I can't seem to figure out what those dark brown lines represent. Thanks. A fuck ton. That answers both questions. 176, long mace. Have you gotten used to the train? 2, how wide do you think you have it? Yes. Your second question thus becomes irrelevant. 177, Jamoni. Who writes, out of all the LPers who you have played co-op stuff with, which one was the most fun to play with? 2, if you were to make a religion, what would be its rules? Oh no. Calvin Burry asked this question way earlier. I'm not giving you a bestie answer. Hell, I'm so mercurial it wouldn't be beyond me to have different favorites depending on the day and my mood. If I were to make a religion, I won't give you a good answer here either. The very thought of me attempting to create a functioning religion with rules is so anathema to my brain that I honestly can't. Maybe you can take some pointers from the sect of Grimith, though. Apparently there's an entire cult which revolves around my existence. 178 comes from Nicholas9822, who writes, if you could make a game that was utterly perfect, what would be your idea of... what would it be, including things like premise, setting, gameplay, maybe some ideas of the levels, character scale, and all kinds of game stuff, ignoring any kind of restrictions? Because I want you to kill your throat. Second question, what would be your idea of a perfect society? These questions were already tackled in varying degrees earlier, but I wouldn't want you to go without begging here, Nicholas. You're a long-time viewer, I recognize you. The problem is that I might be a creative dreamer who lives in a cardboard box, but I don't see much point in these ideal X questions. I see them as a waste of time, and I think it would be disingenuous for me to pretend otherwise. That was me taking a screenshot of the fact that I got so far, everyone. This is my hobby, and I've tried to conduct it with both honesty and transparency. Besides, there's no way such a game could exist. I can't be satisfied with myself, so it's not like I could be satisfied with anything I design. Let's just say that I hire Will Wright in whatever design team he wants, and he makes the game however he likes, since we're apparently ignoring any kind of restriction. Maybe it'll fuse every sim game ever designed into one colossal sim everything, holy shit. The same is true of the perfect society question. I've read a lot of dystopian novels, and the universal strife and clashes we have in society are like an integral part of it. Also, you upgraded the wrong fucking blockade, assholes. Would be nice if it prioritized the damaged towers, huh, right? I've read a lot of dystopian novels, the universal strife and clashes we have in society are an integral part of it. It's so unfathomable for me to imagine anything that's completely alien from it. At the same time, it need to be completely alien because I'm wholly dissatisfied with the current condition of Western civilization, right? Right? Really, I don't have anything better for you, and I'm not willing to rack my brain for 15 minutes trying to come up with something better. 179 calls from Paul Davin, who says, maybe leave this question until last. What was your favorite question? Here's your... oh, there goes the jargon. Here's your I'm doing this shit in chronological order because there's so many fucking questions, and I'm not even going to give you a good answer because I don't do favorites, babe. 180 comes from Dumb Gold, who writes, what was your favorite LGWI to do and record? 2, you can have a button that will destroy anything you want, but can only be used once. You cannot destroy the button. You press it, and if you do, what do you destroy? First question, we're using the standby Liberal Crime Squad. Let's see here. Second question, no doubt, we discussed her earlier, Mrs. Walker. Fuck that old bitch. I don't even care if she's dead already. We're eradicating her. 181 comes from Verdoff1, who writes, "You mentioned in one of your videos that you've had a rough school life growing up. Of course, many other people have, as well as myself, too. So that leads me to ask, 1, what was it like? So, you've decided to send my blockades to hell. A valid interpretation. Thankfully, my towers are still of sound health, I guess you could say. Despite the fact that I'm not ensnaring any of these guys at all, because I'm fucking crazy. I might even be better off just ignoring the blockades entirely, right? Right. Or physical beam or something. I've mentioned this before. These arguments sound familiar. Go ahead and get rid of you. If only I could use the Jester, but that would take too fucking long. So I won't. Even if I could, I would not. Does it take too long? Did I ever build a... Oh. 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 Oh, you sons of bitches. You motherfuckers. Fuck. What the fuck am I doing? You pick up the mana for now. You drop that shit. You pick it up. It's not like I'm getting rid of the fucking buff beam. Get rid of those goddamn towers, though. Alright, get out of the way. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way. Bitch, get out the way. Two boosted towers? Really? Really? I don't believe you. Oh, right. It must obviously refer to the aura. Alright, I'm selling the lightning tower. I have to sell the lightning tower. Makes me sad, you see, but has to be done. Let's go, this is what I get for not doing like a gas trap or something. I'm paying for it here. Oh, lightning tower with your 5,005 kills. You served me well. Until you stop serving me well. You will be remembered fondly. Well, fondly. Verdoff1, let's get back to that. I'll just start reading the question again from scratch. Writes, you've mentioned in one of your videos that you've had a rough school life growing up. Of course, many other people have, as well as myself, too. So that leads me to ask, what was it like? And 2, if you go back and change anything, what, why? I think the first question has been answered through an assortment of prior ones. I was both highly intelligent and cripplingly shy. As a self-defense mechanism against bullying and to protect myself, or rather to both protect myself and to protect other people from me, I tried to isolate myself as much as I could while at school. This experienced mixed results. In 2nd grade, I got so angry that I bit a girl bigger than me when she slammed me out of the lunch line and into the wall. Got right through her sweater and into her arm. Biting was a mechanism, a tool I used to protect myself from my older brother, who stands at 6 feet 4 inches. How many kills? Only 413. I'll tell you what, we're fucking selling you. I don't know what we're fucking building with you, but we're fucking selling you. Alright. And that's 5 defense units to play around with. Obviously, this keeps turning into a fucking nightmare. So I tell you what, I got an idea. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. We'll place a gas trap there. We're not going to complete that. Hopefully that'll be of value. And we'll place a gas trap right in here. I'm not going to care so much about all the fucking chests, because Jesus fucking Christ. Been on this map forever. Feels like. Wave 35. Hap, that's a glitched out rig score. Fucking cheaters. Bunch of bastards. Oh, man. You use me! There we go. Right, so biting was a mechanism I used to protect myself against my very tall brother. And funny enough, I actually had Mrs. Walker as my substitute teacher that day. It was the very interesting thing. In 6th grade, gym, I was provoked so hard that I actually got into a fight with a kid smaller and quicker than I was. I threw a few punches, each time he cuffed me upside the head twice. And I actually regained control of my emotions during the fight, and I actually walked away from him. And went about my business. I like to think it was the most confusing thing anyone in the locker room had ever seen. In another instance during 6th grade, a massive kid, we're talking bigger than my brother, in both size and weight at 13 years old, who had bullied me since elementary school, pushed me too far by coming into my homeroom during locker changes, and I clocked him. I clocked that fucking fat ass tub of lard so hard in the stomach he never said anything to me again. In 7th grade, when a nearby kid in math class took some money from my desk, a middle school football player, that I popped him square in the jaw, then laughed about his tough guy routine when he dared me to punch him again, like, I already hit you, dude. Do you seriously need more motivation? What the fuck is wrong with you? In 8th grade, a kid who actually stood both taller and bigger than me, again, another middle school football player, got me in the stomach to punch me to get my attention. In exchange, I threw 3 rapid punches at his torso, which only incensed him in derogatory insults. Because it's like, whenever I get into a fight, whenever I throw punches at people and actually hit them, I think they're so incredulous, they're like, I dare you to hit me again, derp-a-der. Like, they couldn't fucking believe that happened. Like, they're scared to get into a fight with me or something. I don't know. So yeah, just incensed him in derogatory insults. By the time I got to high school, everything stopped. By that moment, my shell had become so complete, and so few people knew me from an earlier grade level that I definitely never suffered from bullying. Hell, few people even teased me except for my friends, and that's the way I wanted it. It's worth noting that because I was such a good kid, and so well behaved, that fucking Dark Elf Warriors are practically fucking immune to everything. Or not immune to everything. They're a real pain in the dick. And they're at a good distance that the lightning tower can get to them. It's pretty nice. It's worth noting, though, that because I was such a good kid and so well behaved, that all these incidents were seen as completely abnormal. In the 2nd grade, I wasn't even sent to the principal, although I know the substitute teacher told him. My mom was never even called. The principal knew my family so well that he just let it go. The fight I had in 6th grade, a friend of mine in the locker room told the gym teachers what happened, and they knew how shy and awkward I was. So the other kid got a discipline referral even though I threw the first punch. The fat tub of lard, teacher never got told. 7th grade, that happened in the middle of math class, and the guy I punched was too tough to want that to get sent to the office. Like, the teacher asked him, like, you want to do something about this? Because we would have both been suspended. And the teacher was nice enough, you know, he was a guy in his 40s, he understood shit like this, things happened, and, you know, he didn't approve of the fact that, you know, the kid took money from my desk, but then again, I fucking hit him. And so, and the other kid was like, no, let this go. I was so angry. So angry. You know, I tried to play that off as cool. I was shaking and trembling. Because the teacher didn't see that happen. Only a few of the students did. I was so pissed. You know, part of me was like, what the fuck did you do? And the other part was like, you know what? Fuck him. What's the worst that's gonna happen to me? I have to explain to mom? You know, my parents told me how to handle a bullying situation if shit got bad enough. Yeah, that's stuff I try to get in my head. You know, it seems like this whole decision to try to be more intelligent, you know, may have actually been fucking useful. Good job, Grimith, actually utilizing the heroes that you have. My god. What a novel concept. Trying to play the game. You know, and hell, the fireball tower can't really do so well catching all these guys, but the lightning tower, it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, 8th grade, teacher never saw it, but man, thinking back on it now, did things turn out worse for him? Because it turns out that, my mom, was actually, she bowled with a friend of, his mom, as well as that kid itself. My mom didn't even know. She was just talking with her friend, and, started gabbing and mentioning, and, like, who was the kid he got a fight with? You know, I know a few kids, and, the kid's name was mentioned. And, like, really? As a matter of fact, he's hanging out with my son right now. He never bothered me again. That was great. So, we still had some fucking, things move here in the end anyway. That could have been worse, though. The moral of this story is that life is lenient for talented people. Anyway, that's a window into what my school life was like. Second question, I hand-wave these away. I can't say I'd change anything, because ultimately, history needs to be how it is, because there's no way any human can fathom the consequences of what all would change if just one little thing did. That's such an alternate history mindfuck. And I completely stay away from the question, even with regrets I have in my personal life. Okay, next up is Angelus Cordana, who asks, what is your favorite clan in Vampire the Masquerade? It's pretty stupid, but I have a soft spot for Malkavians. I'd probably play a moronic fishmalk, rather than an actual character with a severe and serious derangement, if only because I know how melodramatic I am, and I'd probably fuck it up somehow. Alright, next up, 183 from TXJBXT, who writes, you've done quite a few space-themed games, and I'm curious if you have, fucking shit. Fucking goddamn it. God damn it. So really, this had no change other than, like, reducing some of the firepower I have coming down this middle lane, but the tower wasn't exactly having a massively huge, significant impact anyway. You've done quite a few space-themed games, and I'm curious if you have any sort of interest or fascination with the study of our universe, physics, biology, string theory, dark matter, energy, dimensions, etc. 2. With the hypocrisy and atrocities that America has committed in the recent decade, do you stand/respect the pledge? Personally, I don't do it anymore, as I can't feel proud of a country that's corrupted by corporations, discriminates against minorities, bombs civilians in other countries, etc. I'm not a science guy, and I can safely say that I have little interest in space endeavors, although I would like global scientists to focus on more practical goals for humanity, and, you know, actually, you know, do something about those goals. Don't let bureaucracy cause the dreams to die, everyone! Also, it's been a long time since I've heard the Pledge of Allegiance. 2006? Yeah, I'd say 2006, my senior year of high school. The pledge is obviously American propaganda, an attempt to indoctrinate students into developing nationalistic tendencies for the country in which they live, and really I can't say I blame the government for making the pledge exist. I didn't start developing conflicting feelings about the pledge until I got into high school. And from there, I sort of oscillated depending on my day and mood. I always stand, because I wasn't going to get into that fucking argument, but I vary between saying the whole pledge, emitting the phrase under God, and saying nothing. I don't have a problem with people not wanting to say it, or not even feeling pride for the country in which they live. But I remind everyone of the opportunity we have, either through luck or providence, that many others, even within Western civilization, lack. Soldiers have died defending your ability to vociferously voice your displeasure of our nation, a stance many governments, both contemporary and historical, would find absurd. It's okay to recognize the negative, but don't forget the positive, or else you'll form an incomplete picture. If you become, or already are, a political activist, a complete picture is important, or you'll end up with one-sided politics. 184 is brought to you by Gada, who writes, have you ever thought of doing voice work such as voice acting and such? I think this one's been covered, but to reiterate, nah, I don't think it's for me. 185 is from Pretty Explosions. Do you still play games with Jeff? Jeff Major? Nope. Jeff and I don't even talk that much anymore. Different interests. I really haven't fully upgraded any of these. And considering how these are my main damage dealers, that might be fucking worthwhile, huh? It might be. Just might be. Maybe. Maybe. Let's continue. 186 from Bammy. Hey there, Bammy. 1. Bammy 2. 1. You have displayed your fondness of StarCraft /StarCraft Brood War, but if we ignore this game, what is your favorite RTS? Not just an answer, I want a detailed explanation why you like it. 2. Imagine in the near future the copyright Nazis, specifically the Hollywood Gestapo, shut down all video sites. Oh my goodness! Holy shit balls! Everything is going to hell in a handbasket! Oh! Too few defense units! Imagine in the near future the copyright Nazis, specifically the Hollywood Gestapo, shut down all video sites on the internet that allow user-created content. All video sites. Whee! Guess I don't really need to worry about upgrading that fucking thing anymore. Will you revert back to text plus screenshot-based Let's Plays? Replace it with streaming more often? Will you do something else entirely? Ha. My second favorite real-time strategy game? Well, the playtime dropped significantly, and of course I have a hard time picking a favorite based on how mercurial I am. So the concept of a second favorite is like anathema to me. The second. Did I just fucking say that? I think I did. The second. Concept of the second favorite is like anathema to me. Let's just see if I could give you a today's flavor of second favorite. We'll do free association. And the first game that popped into my mind was Age of Empires. That was the first game in which I stayed up over a full day, 28 hours, playing with my 56K modem on Microsoft Gaming Zone. The game also inspired me. I really wish that fucking ogre text would stop popping up. There is no ogre! No ogre! None! 0 ogres are happening. No ogres. Fucking game. Fucking fuck. Age of Empires also inspired me on various historical matters, which I mentioned earlier in this Q&A Beggin' Fest. I think that's a solid answer, so we're sticking with it. As for your second question, I'm having a hard time suspending my disbelief here. If that actually occurred, we'd have to play it by ear. Let me just say that all options are on the table at this point. 187 is brought to you by Patrick2346, who asks, what do you think about Poland, and will you play Civilization 5? I'm apathetic towards Poland. Poland is a troubled history nation, which has minimal, if any, impact on my life. As for whether I'll play Civilization 5, Civilization 5 is my second most played game on Steam. I bought it shortly after release. It's the most disappointing game I've ever played in my adult life, so yeah, I've played it already. Extensively. Not even a fan. Not even remotely a fan. Aramart, with 188. Your blatant nihilism have always cheered me up. Keep up the good work. As for the question, I've enjoyed your Daggerfall L dash dash dash. Fuck the Safari twice now. As I was saying, he had to leave a second comment. As I was saying, I was enjoying your Daggerfall LP immensely. Is there a chance that you will LP something as great and as frustrating in the future? It will certainly be fun to watch. I did say limit just one comment, but, you know, I understand technical flaws and situations and problems occurring. I'm a tolerant and giving and kind individual. I understand your pain and sorrow. Magic, come back. There we go. These actually were moved a bit. I think we'll actually keep them where they are now. That is sufficient. Whatever. We'll be fine. We're now very, very much within the range of that strength drain aura. Very much. As for this one, for that matter. Sorry. I was enjoying your Daggerfall LP immensely. Is there a chance you will LP something as great and as frustrating in the future, which will really be fun to watch? Maybe? I don't know what the future holds, other than what's on the well-documented and publicly released Rewarding the Rewarders 2013 and 2021X list. We will see. Excuse me. Entrant 189 comes from My Name is 214365. If you dislike Dwarf Fortress because of its horrible interface, then how did you get into Liberal Crime Squad, whose interface is nearly as bad? 2. What was your absolute worst experience in a pen and paper role-playing game? I would imagine someone with decades of role-playing experience would have some horror stories. Are you serious? Did you just write an internet text that Liberal Crime Squad's intuitive, non-complex, self-explanatory UI is nearly as bad as the atrocious, archaic albatross of Dwarf Fortress? Melodrama aside, get the fuck out. Maybe you could make that comparison to Liberal Crime Squad required third-party information sources like a wiki in order to grasp the basic fundamentals of the game so that you could bypass its learning curve, which, oh by the way, certainly isn't dozens of hours steep like Dwarf Fortresses. You can overcome LCS's mediocre documentation simply by playing the game. I did. I read nothing more than the manual when I first played the game, and the basics are easy to grasp. Worst case nowadays, you look at the forum or you query the wiki and boom, there you go. That's how the game operates. Took 19 fucking seconds. At worst, 19 minutes. Try this thing with Dwarf Fortress. Go on, do it. I'll help tie the cinder bricks to your legs while you're at it. How much time do you think a new person spends staring at bullshit and not playing a game with Dwarf Fortress versus Liberal Crime Squad? That's what I thought. I'm not even answering your second question. I'm giving you Englishman butler bacon because you just got served. Thinly veiled justification for trying to slog through this entire list faster? Go! 190 is brought to you by Andin Zed, who writes, 1. Why do you think most people want/need an afterlife? Not saying there is or isn't, not saying because it's their belief, but if you were to ask them, they would want another life or a continuation. Personally, I don't. I feel this life is good enough. I don't want eternity. It would drive me mad, even if I would be with God. It's like when someone has a pie, you just want a bit. 2. What is a thing that just gets you when it comes to women, like hairy body, goofy face, women in suits? Contemplating a situation in which you don't exist in any form at all is really fucking terrifying for most people, and for good reason. It harkens back to our desire to survive, and calling forth such morbid thoughts like the utter eradication of everything that is you, except for any children you may have had. Well, that even discomforts me. Not something I want to lie awake thinking about. As for the second question, I think we covered both turn-offs and offs earlier. Not the full list, but I think that works. Isn't that right, ladies? 191 is brought to you by Mihomiti. Mihomiti. Damn it, we've had this name before. I remember problems with this before. Me. Grimith, if you were a food, what kind of food would you be? Secondly, if the person you're most attracted to intellectually or physically was a food, would they be delicious? Thank you so much for all the hours of entertainment you've provided. You've whipped a wonderful community together, and it's been a pleasure to mostly lurk and watch your videos and even once contribute to a game and follow the hobby of a truly interesting person. I love that you still use Notepad 2 more should. I would be an absolutely atrocious and horribly tasting food, perhaps a venomous Amazonian frog or some such, so that predators would look at me and say, lol the fuck nope. As for your second question, you mean the person I'm most attracted to isn't already a food? Huh. Guess I've been going about this all wrong. Oh, man. Let's see here. Let's go around fixing the rest of my shit. Fix these. Oh, man. We're on question 192, everyone. Yeah, no kidding. Woo! I've apparently been in Dungeon Defenders for 471 minutes. Not all of that time was, of course, spent on the Q&A stuff, as there was a moment in which nothing occurred, but I haven't gotten up from my chair for more than a few minutes. I haven't gotten anything to drink, eat at all. And I didn't even eat breakfast either. Shit. And the dude says, 1, do you have a girlfriend? 2, what do you do for a living? I think both these questions have been tackled already, Anton, but I know you're a long-time viewer, and maybe you weren't paying attention during them. So rehash bacon. No girlfriend, and I work at a museum, doing museum-y things. 193 is by XSI, who writes, out of all your paper and pen and paper role-playing games, how many full campaigns did you complete successfully and unsuccessfully? I may have asked this before, so if so, derpity derpity derp. 2, I don't actually have a second question, so I'll give you this. What question do you want people to ask? Alternatively, what sort of questions do you expect people to ask? I can't give you exact numbers, but I've completed several dozen campaigns, and I've not completed at least double that number, both as a player and as a DM/GM. 194 is brought to us by JDWAG11. Who writes, do Siamese twins pay for 1 ticket or 2 tickets? I think we'll go one more wave and then I'll stop the video. Do Siamese twins pay for 1 ticket or 2 tickets when they go to movies and concerts? 2. Why are plastic bears the only animal you can get honey from? Why can't you get honey from a plastic bee? Well, since they're twins, they're 2 separate entities, so I'm leaning towards yes, although I don't think Siamese twins would be comfortable in a movie theater on account of how the seats are designed. So I think the question is moot because the odds of me ending up in this situation, having to make this decision, are practically nil. And what do you mean you can't get honey from a plastic bee? This is outrageous. Everyone get a hold of your congressman. I think we'll actually stop before 185 and not even do the wave. So, coming up, another wave and more fucking questions. I think we'll need 2 more videos to go through all of them at an hour each. Roundabouts? Oh, god damn it. Why? At least you all had fucking repeats. Jesus. Imagine if all of you had fucking unique and valid and other thing questions. I'm gonna go check the volume levels now.